Finally back on the 450rl, now with the Get ECU. Overall, I think I like it, or I don't think I like it, I definitely like it better than stock. It's got more power, better power delivery, and yeah, it's just better. So my plan is to go, this is kind of the trail that I did in the last video, but backwards, I guess. So the Get ECU, I'm running it, this one, the previous owner had gotten it for the Yoshimura, or a Yoshimura exhaust. I don't have the exhaust anymore because they sold it before I got the bike. So it's probably running rich. But it still seems to be a lot better than stock. The biggest thing is the jerkiness of the throttle is pretty much gone. Like on and off throttle. It's just a lot better. I do have a sort of starting issue I've noticed with this ECU. Only hot starts though. So I'll probably have to stop in a minute and take a break, and I can try and show the hot start issue. But other than that, it's got more power than stock. The on-off throttle is better. You can do that. I know a lot of people's problem with the stock ECU is that you can't just whack the throttle open off of idle without it stalling. But who really rides like that? Like, is anyone really just going full throttle from idle? I don't know. But if you want to do that, this ECU, it will let you do that, I guess. It's probably going to be hard to really notice much difference in my riding because I'm still abusing the clutch a lot. And there's actually a reason for that, I think, and it's not the ECU. So here, I'll shut it off for a second while I talk about that, and then maybe it'll show you the hot start problem. The issue that I think I was having more than the stock ECU and the reason I was slipping the clutch so much is I thought that this had the stock gearing. It doesn't. The previous owner had put a 48 tooth on the rear. I'm assuming the front is still a 13. I don't know. But my gearing is obviously too tall for this, so I ordered I ordered a new chain and sprockets to go back to stock, so 1351. I have to replace the chain anyway because when they did the rivet style master link, they just cranked it down so it's like partially seized. But yeah, so I think my biggest issue when I had the stock ECU on it was probably just the gearing, but see if it does the hot start thing that I'm talking about. Wasn't too bad that time, but the issue is that, like, you just have to hold the start button down and let it like turn over more than with the stock ECU. It only does it with this ECU, and it only does it on hot starts. Stock ECU doesn't matter, hot, cold, doesn't matter. It starts almost immediately every time for me. Yeah, this trail is a little tricky this way for me, so see if I make it. Not off to a great start here. Fucked that up a little bit. Or a lot, I guess. Yeah, you can hear I'm still just beating on this clutch. I think, like I said, that's mostly a gearing thing at this point. Wow, I get tired fast. Also, these tires don't have a ton of grip, so you gotta be pretty careful with the throttle and really use the clutch on this stuff. But yeah, almost to the top. Let's see. I don't know what I was trying to do there. I couldn't pick between going left or right, so I just went into the tree. Awkward. Whoa. I am all over the place right now. This is one thing I'm really bad at, is like starting from small hills like this. I don't think I can do it from here, but it's either that or I go back down and get a little momentum. I don't know, maybe I'll just try from here. Also, my gas light's on. Let's see. Can I do it from here? Probably not. Well, that was not good, but I did kind of make it. But yeah, so I don't know if it'll really come across in this video compared to the other one, whether or not like how much of a difference there is between this ECU and the stock one, but I think it's quite a bit better. I mean, it's just, I don't care, like, I don't care what ECU you have. If your gearing's too tall, you're just not going to be able to let the clutch out all the way at low speeds. It's just pretty obvious, right? And I think that's the issue I'm still having, but it is still a little bit better than stock in terms of that. So I think the stock flame out issue is massively exaggerated, but it, like I said, now with this ECU you can pretty much just whack the throttle open off idle and it's most likely not going to stall, whereas stock it probably would. But this does randomly kind of stall on me sometimes, and I'm not even sure if it's me just not slipping the clutch enough. When it happens, it is at low speeds, so it could just be me not using the clutch enough still with this gearing, but it almost sounds like it bogs out. So I'm not sure, like, maybe that's because it's running just too rich. I don't know. That was sketchy. But yeah, other than the ECU, I guess the bike's pretty much the same since the last video. I did mess with the suspension clickers and I think it made it a lot better. All I did was I went in, I think stock on the front compression was like 6 out or something. I'm at like 16 out now, which I don't know if that's the maximum or not. The rebound in the front, I actually went in on, so I went slower, which I don't know, I might try speeding it back up. For the rear, I have the high speed all the way out and then like a tiny bit back in, like just a little bit. Yeah, so rear high speed basically all the way out. Low speed on the rear, I think I left at stock or went like a little bit out. And rebound on the rear, I think I left in the stock position. But yeah, I don't know, maybe you'll be able to get an idea of how the bike's running now with the Get ECU compared to the last video. I still really just think it's a good bike. It has a lot of potential if you can just fix its little bit of issues that it has, which, like I said, I think the main issue I was having was the gearing, not even so much that stock ECU. Ooh, that was sketchy. What the fuck? Oh. Yeah, so I don't think I was quite fair to it in the previous video talking about the stock ECU on like trails like this with this gearing, at least at my riding level. Obviously if you ride faster, I guess you wouldn't have the issues of stalling it. That was sketchy. But I'm just not I'm not that comfortable riding through this shit very fast, so we'll see how it is once I get it geared back down to at least stock. I think it'll be a lot better. I might even end up going lower, I don't know. But I can see how this bike is a weird sort of, it's in a weird place in terms of dual sports, because it's not like a full-on enduro bike like a KTM 300 or something, but it's not, it doesn't have those long dual sport maintenance intervals to do like long rides, I guess. It's kind of somewhere in between, and weight wise too, it's a little in between. So I can see how if you're expecting, you know, a monster enduro bike, you might be disappointed. And if you're expecting like your typical smooth like dual sport that you can just like, I don't know, don't have to really do any mods to, and you can just kind of casually ride across the country, you'd probably also be disappointed. And also, if you're like not that I'm a very experienced rider, but if you're a wicked beginner and you buy this bike, I could see being very disappointed, because that stock throttle is really jerky. But the Get ECU, I think, does fix the jerkiness for sure. So, but yeah, so the Get ECU, it definitely helps that low end power, or just low end response, and you get more power, which is nice. Speaking of how much power this has, in the previous video I kind of was saying how it doesn't have much more power than my DRZ, my 24 DRZ. It has a lot more power, especially with this ECU. I think I just hadn't ridden, I hadn't really ridden this enough and then ridden the DRZ to notice there's a big difference in like overall snappiness and just power. So I may have lied in the previous video about that. So would I buy the Get ECU? Because keep in mind it came with this bike, so I didn't go out and like get this ECU. I just happened to basically have it. Probably, I mean, it is a lot of money for it, but it is a pretty big difference. I do think that the stock reflash might probably be good too. But I'd probably try out like, I mean, who knows, I might be fine with the stock gearing on the stock ECU in terms of, you know, not stalling it and shit, but the power is nice. But I think maybe I'd try like the I don't know, those like throttle tamer things maybe. I don't know how much those are though, because I think the ECU, the reflash, is only like 200 bucks. So only downside is you're without a ECU while you mail it out for that. So that's one thing that's nice about the Get ECU is, you know, once you get it, you're good and your bike's not down while you're waiting for it. But yeah, I guess that's I don't know if I don't think I left anything out. I guess that's kind of just a 450 update. Still really happy with the bike, especially once I get the gearing dialed out. Kind of feels like my rear tire's flat. But yeah, if you're, depending on your expectations, this bike is, I think it's great. Especially with the ECU. So, yeah, I guess that's probably it.